Welcome back to the South End Zone. We got Michael filling in for Chad. Big week, Alabama hate week. LSU goes to Oxford. Let's not waste any time, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Our intent was to eat. Our intent was to come eat and be hungry.
We're taking receipts, and we'll see you at the national championship.
Taking receipts each and every week here at the South End Zone. Welcome back. My name is Tyler, the familiar face of the duo here today. Before I get into that, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and help me welcome Michael, our stand-in for Chad. Chad and I are both on vacation, but Chad chose to go out of the country, so here we are. We didn't coordinate that very well, but that is okay. Michael, welcome back.
Thank you. Good to be back.
Absolutely. Two big games for this show in particular this weekend. Probably two of the three biggest games in college football this weekend, I'd argue. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree. And if it weren't for that Big Ten game day would be at one of our spots, right? So
yeah. Honestly, what's funny is a lot of people were upset that, or I shouldn't say a lot of people, some people in the Georgia world were upset that they weren't coming to Athens for Alabama, Georgia. But there's a group which I've kind of fallen in, keep that noise away. Honestly, better not have, because they up the production every year and it becomes a big thing. Like Kirby's going to go out and do spots for game day and things like that. Honestly, and same with you guys that have Brian Kelly doing, or Lane Kiffin. It's better to leave it alone. Let them go up to Happy Valley. The atmosphere is going to be electric. We'll talk about that eventually. But off the top, Michael, I will give you the floor to tell me and everybody else how you feel about LSU going on the road to Oxford.
I feel great, honestly. I feel very good. And the reason I feel so good is our defense. Lane Kiffin admitted this week this is the best defense he's seen at LSU since he's been at Ole Miss. He also admitted this week that it was the best defense money could buy. But and this is coming from the Portal King, right? So
seriously.
Brian Kelly decided to, go all in on the defense. He knew he had to. He knew he had the offense to complement it. And I don't think, like I said, this quarterback, Trinidad Chambliss, is going to be starting again.
Is that confirmed?
That is confirmed.
Okay.
And he's played well, but against the level of competition that he's played against, he's never seen a defense like this. Either at Ole Miss or at Ferris State, where he came from. So I think he's in for a rude awakening. I noticed in the game last week against Tulane that they had a lot of design quarterback runs, and that's just not going to fly with Harold Perkins flying around in the defensive side and Whit Weeks up the middle. So I think LSU is just going to basically try to stop the run, force him to pass. I just don't see a weakness on this defense. I don't necessarily need to stop the run or stop the pass. I just think that this defense is built to win a championship, and I know that look, Ole Miss always has a great offense. There's never a question.
It's true,
but I don't think their defense is as good as it has been in previous years. And so, yes, LSU's offense. There's been questions, and so there's been a lot of commentary, but I really do believe Brian Kelly when he says, I have a defense that I know that I can count on, and I know when I need to use the offense more, or I know when I can dial the offense back. I think against the Florida game, I think he felt like he didn't, the defense was 5 interceptions. I mean, he didn't really need to kick the offense up. But I felt like last week against Southeastern, I know that's not a great opponent, but I felt like the offense kind of started getting in that rhythm. Nussmeier had a little injury that he's been dealing with from throwing so much in camp and early in the season. So he's feeling better. So I think I'm like I said, I'm feeling good. How are you feeling about it?
I'll say this. When Georgia won both national championships in the beginning of the year, it was our defense that kept us in games until our offense kind of figured it out, early middle to middle late of the later part of the season. And I think it's kind of interesting. Like Chad and I talked in the show, like if LSU, that Jane Daniels team, had any bit of this defense, they'd be national champs 10 times over in that season. That's just a fact.
Right.
You're right. Ole Miss's defense is not the same. Like the defense that we had to go play against at Oxford was full of mercenaries. They're all playing in the NFL now. They were all great players, but they're all bought and paid for 1 year and 1 year only. That's it.
Right.
I like you guys. I'm pulling for you guys as always. It's going to be a tough one. I think it's not a betting show, but we put the lines up here to kind of give people. I think it helps you kind of navigate the way you think about these games, right? Chad and I say that all the time. I think this being right, essentially like a pick 'em 1.5, I think is right where it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
If LSU's offense shows up in the way they can, they take care of business. Ole Miss was at risk for losing to Arkansas until Arkansas had fumbled inexplicably like they do in games of that nature. And I feel so bad for them because they had a real shot at that game.
Mm-hmm.
Arkansas did. But yeah, I like the way you guys look, man. I think, like you said, the defense took care of business, and the offense just needs to follow suit. And the defense keeps doing their thing. It just gives the offense more and more time to kind of get their.
It's basically. Basically, this is the same offense from last year for LSU, with the exception of the offensive line, which is relatively young. But he started freshman on the offensive line before. I will say this. This is probably my biggest point. We will have to score more than 20.
Yeah, you absolutely will.
Yeah. So, this is like I said. So that being said, yes, our defense is great and all, but I think you're going on the road in the SEC. You're going to against a team look, Lane Kiffin's an offensive guru, right? So he's going to find ways to score, and we're going to give up some points, probably more than 10 points. So you're going to have to score more than 20. So, but like I said, I see signs of light with the offense.
Right.
And I think that he knows that this is the type of game. Kelly knows that this is where he's going to have to open it up more than he has in the past 4 games.
Absolutely. And I think this defense that you guys have, I remember I think it was 2 years ago where it was like an unbelievably high scoring game between y'all and Ole Miss. And I think Ole Miss won.
I think it was
right?
the 55-50.
Yeah, it wasn't this past year. It was.
I remember who. I think it was in Oxford. Yeah,
because y'all won at home this past year.
We won at home the past year. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And so, like you said, Ole Miss can turn into a track meet really fast. That's kind of how Lane Kiffin's teams work. But I think that your defense can avoid that and give your offense a chance.
And I'll say one more kind of bold statement. Doing the bold statements today. I think this defense is better than the 2019 defense.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I don't refute that with
2019 offense was so incredible.
It's true, yes.
But the defense was, in the 20s,
Right.
I think this defense is better than that defense. So
I love it. I like you guys at Oxford, man. I like you guys at Oxford. Now, I'm going to take the floor for a little bit here. It is officially Alabama Hate Week here on the South End Zone. We get them off our bye week. Kirby Smart 10-2 off of bye, including loss on Alabama last year. Anyway, this is the bugaboo that everybody talks about with us. I hear it all the time. So, Kirby can't beat Alabama, and this, that, and the other thing. It had a lot to do with Saban. Kirby Smart has 118-ish, 100 something like that, 100 teens wins, 19 losses. 6 of those are to Alabama, and so it's like that. It's always there. Saban's gone, and we have them at home for the first time since 2015. If it does not happen now, it will never happen. Now, I'm not sure I say never, but this is the time. You get it at night, our place, where we want them, and we saw how they looked against Florida State. My thoughts for this game is we cannot be vanilla, typical Mike Bobo. I don't know how well you know our offensive coordinator, Mike Bobo, but he calls a very generic game sometimes. Sometimes it bites us in the ass from time to time. If we tighten up the defense and we be more aggressive when we need to be, I think we can clearly do it. Gunner so far is throwing for 721, average 8.1 per attempt, 4 tuds. Or over the past, on the season, we have 4 players over 100 yards rushing. We really spread it around, which has been great. We just don't let Ryan Williams do Ryan Williams things.
Right.
You know that Jeremy Bernard is their primary target as of right now because a lot of teams are kind of trying to take Williams away from it because he's the big play, big home run hitter. You cannot let him get open in the middle of the field, point blank, period. I think that the biggest difference is there's no Jalen Milroe in this game. I think that Ty Simpson can crack under pressure. He's not bad at all. Like I think he's kind of found his footing a little bit since they played Florida State. However, they played Wisconsin and UL Monroe, for what it's worth. But they looked good in those games.
Yes.
With an asterisk, of course, because
Right.
Wisconsin, I think, was lost to Maryland. But I like us. Of course, I'm going to say I like us here. We need this win. Kirby needs this win. The Dogs need this win. We don't need an undefeated season, but a win against Alabama at home would be huge for our season. We gutted one out in Neyland. The instant classics that we have been involved in the last 10-ish years are not good for my heart. But, so last year we spotted them 4 touchdowns off the rip and then decided to try to win the game anyway and made it a crazy game down the stretch. Do you have anything to keep? Chad, usually my therapist when it comes to these kind of games because he's so confident and I'm so like, oh, how do you feel?
No, I'm UGA all the way on this one, honestly,
Yeah.
And I feel very, very confident about it. At home, this is not Saban. This is not Saban's team. Kirby is now Kirby, right? Kirby's at the top, right? I mean, Kirby is at the top, and like I said, you're at home. Alabama really did struggle, against Florida State, and comes in with a loss. New quarterback, this year. I just think that you guys have it rolling, and I think that this is just going to be. I think it'll be a somewhat close game, but I just think in the end you're gonna win out.
Yeah, I think this 3.5 number is probably it. Like it could be even tighter, honestly, if I had to say, I'm shocked we're getting a whole field goal here. I think it might come down to the end. My wife and I are on a road trip that ends in Athens this weekend, so I will be boots on the ground for this game in the stadium on Saturday night. I am unbelievably excited. Cannot wait. I'm going to be screaming. Everybody will hear me. It's going to be awesome. Kirby's always had like a sour opinion of like some of our fans like leaving games early or just sometimes just not like being the way they should.
Right.
I think Stanford's going to be rocking for this game. You got Alabama coming to town,
yeah.
defending that home win streak that has stood since 2019.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm here for it. Go Dogs, baby. That's all I got to say. Moving along, probably the third of the 3 biggest games this entire weekend. I think this line is crazy, by the way. I had to look at it 3 times. Penn State is favored in this game, and that's not so much of a disrespect to Penn State, maybe a little bit. But I think that Oregon is at risk for potentially running away with this game if Penn State is not on their shit. I mean, you had I shouldn't say better Penn State team. Oregon took care of them in the Big Ten championship this past year. Oregon has Dante Moore, who's looked great at quarterback. He's thrown for 11 touchdowns so far, only 1 pick. Jacorian Moore, Malik Benson, Kenya Sadiq, all Dogs, wide receivers. But Moore and Benson have over 200 yards receiving apiece. A couple touchdowns for all 3 of those dudes. And Jaden Lamar, running back, 215 yards and 3 tuds. And Penn State's not even been tested this year. And, you get all these games up front for some of these teams that are, especially with Big Ten teams, they kind of ease into their season a lot before they get to – this is obviously the biggest game, one of the biggest Big Ten games of the entire year, if I'm being honest with you, Michael. And I've said that Katron Allen and Nick Singleton are arguably one of the best backfields in this entire country, bar none. I still believe that now. But Aller is not looking the part yet, in my opinion. And the receivers are doing more than they did last year, but I'm still not bought in to the new and improved Penn State offense. How do you feel about this one?
Yeah, it's hard for me to believe in Penn State when they just haven't won those big games on a consistent basis. I mean, this is a top 10 matchup. I mean, James Franklin just frankly hasn't done very well in these games. I know it's at Penn State. I know it's over there. I just feel like Oregon is the better team right now. I honestly do. I think their offense is rolling. I think Dan Lanning is a very, very good coach. And honestly, had them picked to win the national championship last year when the playoffs began. I had Oregon, picked over because they were undefeated. They had beaten
Everybody
Ohio
would have
State in
agreed
the
with you.
regular season. Yeah, they beaten Penn State. So, but that being said, it's a new year, obviously, new quarterback. But I just think they've picked up where they left off, and I see Oregon as the better team here, and just because of history and in the history of Penn State in big games.
Absolutely, and Oregon's very clearly on this upward trajectory
Mm-hmm.
that they've managed to find this consistency that I don't think they had even 10 years ago.
They did. No,
Like,
when Cristobal was there,
right.
they would lose games that they shouldn't have lost.
Right, and even when the Chip Kelly Oregon teams fell off after a while, the Mariota teams, this is a Lanning. I mean, he was our defensive coordinator in national championships. He is a great coach. He's a big culture guy, which what you need when you're running a program like Oregon. They have quite literally infinite resources to make a good football team.
Yes.
So, and he's the guy to lead that ship, in my opinion. On the flip side of this, James Franklin's been at Penn State for quite some time now. He was obviously coached at Vandy. He also, for what it's worth, is a great culture guy for that program. It just when it comes to the actual games, he falls flat in games such as this. I'm from Pennsylvania. That's where I live. I have been to a whiteout game at night in Happy Valley. It competes with any SEC game you could possibly think of, in my opinion. It is an environment unlike any other, 109,000 people screaming, and it's a whole thing. It's awesome. So there is that factor that always could play a part. Like Ohio State came in, probably it was like 2016, inexplicably lost to a way lesser Penn State team, at least on paper, right? Blocked field goal, took back for a touchdown, really awesome. But if all things are equal, I think Oregon might actually run away with this game, and it's kind of scary. So yeah, if you're going to give me 3 points, I'll take that all day. Right. If I was a betting man, which I am, but that's not the point of the show. So yeah, I like Oregon all day. Great. I mean, you get number 3 and number 6 in Happy Valley at night. Doesn't get much better than that when it comes to football, my friend.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of eyes on that game. And honestly, these two teams have played nobody. So yeah. we don't really know. I'm not sure we really know what we have.
Yeah,
but
it's scary because Penn State has truly played no one. They played Nevada, FIU, and Villanova. Right. Didn't looks like they beat them, but the scores would indicate like how close those games were at times. Oregon hung 60-something on Oklahoma State, who no longer has a head coach.
Right.
So who knows?
And if you look at that, I mean, Penn State scheduling those types of non-conference opponents in non-Power 5, Power 4 conferences, I guess I would say Power 4 now.
Yeah.
And then, these schedules are made years in advance. So
True.
Oklahoma State was probably put on there many years and when they were somewhat decent, right?
Right.
Obviously, they're not now. But if you look at the difference in the scores of, yes, Oregon is blowing out inferior opponents. Penn State is winning, but they're not blowing them out.
Yeah, absolutely. So I love the Ducks there. I think they take care of business. I would love to see something great out of Penn State. I would love to see Drew Aller prove to be the prospect that people claim him to be. I don't buy it, but we'll see. A couple other games this weekend we'll get into. Notre Dame is traveling to Fayetteville, and Notre Dame fans, I'm telling you, I don't think that you understand what a rock fight in Fayetteville, Arkansas looks like. You are 4.5 point underdog. 4.5 point favorites, and I'm telling you that they're going to have to earn everything they get down there if they want to come out with the win. Because Arkansas will show up, rain or shine, no matter how good their team is, and they will show out and they will try to beat you. And if you are not on your P's and Q's, they will do so.
Right.
It is the tale as old as time when it comes to SEC football. You do not come out of Fayetteville, Arkansas without having earned the win that you got. Period.
Yep. Agree. Yeah, and Notre Dame's in a bad spot.
Mm-hmm.
They lost to the two ranked opponents that they played, right? They've have one ranked opponent left on the schedule, I believe, as of right now, which was USC coming up. I just don't see where these quality wins are going to come to where they can get in the playoff.
Right.
And I don't, even if they take care of Arkansas, I don't think that a 2-2 Arkansas team that's not ranked, I don't think that that's going to help them any. And you're right, it is a tough place to play. And Sam Pittman always has those guys ready to play and for a dogfight. But I do see Notre Dame winning the game, but I just don't see a path for them going forward. Even if they finish with just the 2 losses, there's no conference championship game for them. Where would they find another quality win?
I think yeah. Well, I think, however, they could turn if they lost to Miami, they lost to Texas A&M, who, if Chad and I have kind of discussed it before, I don't disagree with you. I kind of was in that camp as well. However, if Notre Dame runs their table and then Texas A&M and Miami turn out to be very, very good,
very good.
Miami's now number 2 in the country as it stands right now. Then you turn those into quality losses, and then you can kind of Notre Dame will always have as long as they have no more than 2 losses, and they're great, because this is like, in my opinion, I was telling Chad that this is like, I don't remember Notre Dame giving themselves a schedule like this maybe ever. Right. Like to have 2 ranked opponents off the rip.
Yeah.
And then
I feel like they have to do that though, because they're not in a conference. I think
that is very true.
And then in last year, they lose to Northern Illinois, and they had just incredible season after that. So it's like, but this is literally, like I said, I just don't see the potential. The like you said, it could come down to Miami and Texas A&M ending up very, very highly ranked, and those are very good losses. But where are the quality wins going to come from?
Right.
That's where I'm questioning.
I don't disagree with you, my friend.
Yeah.
I am 2-0 at doing this. I'm putting Notre Dame on upset alert this weekend. I have bought into them both times. I've given them the benefit of the doubt both times. And to be fair, had it not been for a dropped snap on an extra point, that game probably was going to overtime. Even if Texas A&M comes down and scores, Notre Dame still has a chance to win that in extra time. So we'll see. But I'm officially putting Notre Dame on upset alert, and I will let them prove me wrong.
Well, we can't agree on everything.
So absolutely not. That's what it's all about.
Exactly. So
this isn't this is South End Zone. We have people tell us we're stupid in our comments all the time, and it's fun. And we love them just the same.
Exactly.
Dan Lanning always says, "You may hate me, but I love you," and that's okay.
That's right.
Moving right along, a couple other games. Auburn goes to College Station to play Texas A&M after falling short against Oklahoma in a weird. Oklahoma wins. Admittedly very missed call by Oklahoma, an extra touchdown with the weird substitution. Can't do that. Trick play. Was it a trick play? I don't know. Texas A&M looks great. Like, they're letting Marcel Reed throw the ball. They come off a bye week after beating Notre Dame in South Bend. I think they're ready for this game. I'm sure that Auburn has their lumps from last weekend. Yeah. Marcel Reed, previous game against Notre Dame, he threw for 360 yards and 2 tuds with a pick. Notre Dame has a solid secondary. I don't know if Auburn has the same. Their receiving core is an absolute problem. Mario Craver, stud. Casey Concepcion, the transfer from North Carolina State, stud. They will absolutely get it done. And, yeah, I mean, I don't know how to – they lost to – Auburn lost to Oklahoma, and Oklahoma only rushed for 32 yards with Mateer taking care of like 271 through the air. With the – looks that A&M can give Auburn on the offensive side of the ball. This number seems like not crazy, but I definitely like A&M in this one.
Yeah, I do too. Now, that being said, I thought Auburn played better than I thought they would at Oklahoma last year. Me too. So they may be better than we think they are. But, yeah, look at A&M. LSU still having nightmares about Marcel Reed from last year. So if he's added this passing element to the running element, boy, what a dangerous combination that is. And it's gonna be tough for Auburn to go on the road in Texas A&M, and also coming off the loss at Oklahoma. I mean, I think there's two things against them right there, and the fact that A&M is probably a superior team. I feel like so. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm rolling with the Aggies in that one.
Yes.
I think you are as well.
I am.
This one right here, Tennessee goes to Starkville, Stark Vegas, as Chad likes to call it. Tennessee is the road favorite, and I think that is rightfully so. To me, this is a big get-back spot. Get right. Tennessee is still a fantastic team. We worked our asses off to get out of Neyland with the win, and I think they take that out of Mississippi State.
Yeah, a couple things on the end of that game, the Tennessee-Georgia game. You had the false start, which pushed the field goal back 5 yards. Still for 43 yards, manageable field goal. They really should have won that game. No offense to you as a Georgia fan.
No, I don't disagree.
Honestly, yeah, if that 5 yards, 5 yards, a field goal inside the 30 and a field goal over 40, there's a lot of difference in percentages wise. So,
yeah.
Say it's a 38-yarder, he probably makes that thing, and they win. That said, Mississippi State has done pretty well so far. I think for better than maybe most people think. They beat a playoff team in Arizona State already. But no, Tennessee,
they're the real deal.
They were the real deal. I mean, they were right on par with you last week, and now they're going to Starkville. They'll be fine. I think Tennessee will take care of business. So.
I think so too. I think that Mississippi State had their moment. They are undefeated at this very moment, but I think that road ends this coming weekend. I like Tennessee. I think Aguilar is a great quarterback, and I've talked about this before. If you are a Tennessee fan, you have to absolutely love Josh Heupel, because he told Nico to hit the bricks, brings Aguilar in from App State, and he's playing with the best of them, and that team looks damn good. And like you said, we were lucky to win that game. I will never disagree with that. We fought like hell to get back in that game, and they still almost beat us. You know what I mean? So,
well, it shows you what kind of coach Heupel is.
Right.
You lose your quarterback at the last minute, and then bring in somebody else, and you're molding him into this player that he already is right now. And he had some interception issues at Appalachian State, and but he's playing well. I mean, he is playing well.
He is good. He's slings
but he's being coached well. I mean,
exactly.
Heupel was a national championship quarterback, and as a player. So his offenses has been crazy good everywhere he's been. So I mean, look, this is a great coach. So look. They'll get over that loss a couple weeks ago. Was it? It was 2 weeks ago, right?
2 weeks ago, because they had a bye.
So they'll be fine. They'll take care of business at Mississippi State. But I do think the Mississippi State's kind of going in the right direction here, though. So far,
I don't disagree.
So far. Yeah.
And it's tough, right? Because Mississippi State, your coach passes away, and then you lose all your players. And so they've been bringing themselves back from possibly the lowest point that a team could be. Who knows where Mississippi State would be had obviously Mike Leach still been here.
Right, sure.
But they're bringing it back. You have that amazing win, which I will never take that away from them. I just see, like you said, Tennessee is still a great football team and the superior team. Take them all day. Yep. Now, here's a game we'll talk about, and I'm not going to claim to be the expert here. All I know is that when Illinois played Indiana, I was like, Illinois? They're the higher ranked team, and they're getting points. I'm glad I didn't make a decision and pick one of the sides, because I would have been wrong. But they get absolutely mollywopped in Bloomington. I don't know what that says more about either team, but now they're gonna host USC, who offense looks great for them, by the way. Mayava throwing for already 1,200 yards already. Receiving court, it's a very much a Lincoln Riley team, and their offense is going to show up. That is kind of how I see this one right now.
Yeah, no, I was shocked about the score of that Indiana-Illinois game. I really thought Illinois was one of these ground and pound, Big Ten.
Yeah, Brett Bielema is your coach.
Right. But you know what? Google Kurt. Google him. He wins, right, in Indiana. Google him. So yeah, I think Illinois is probably a little shell shocked right now, and I think Lincoln's got a good team. He's got a quarterback that he trusts, and that may not have been the case last year throughout the whole year. So I would go USC right here. So
Me too. I don't feel strongly either direction, but I would definitely give the nod to the Trojans here. Who knows? If you are Brett Bielema, you need this. This is where you cut it off, you move on.
Right.
Indiana might just be that good. We don't know yet.
Right.
So to avoid that thinking that you suck, you got to make this a game, if not win.
Right.
So that's kind of where you're at right now.
I mean, yeah, exactly. This is the must-win type thing. Yeah, absolutely.
And they'll come to play. They got a good team. I think they can take care of it. But USC's offense will show up. Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Another kind of get-right spot. If you're South Carolina here, do you host Kentucky, who is? They kind of gave Ole Miss a run. You know, Ole Miss still won that game, and now Sellers, even though they lost to Mizzou, I think Mizzou's really good. That's kind of where I'm at with that. And Sellers still had a great stat line in that game. I would say that South Carolina gets right here. Michael, what do you think?
I think this one's a pick'em kind of.
Right. I think 5.5 is a crazy number.
Yeah, I think this is a pick'em. I think South Carolina is not as good as we thought they were going to be. I mean, they really were going into the season. They were coming to LSU. They really should have won that game against LSU last year in Columbia. And I'm thinking, oh man, that's the last team I want to see come in here. But they really haven't played that well. So, so yeah, my worry more is, like an A&M coming to town 2 weeks after that game. So, yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And me and Chad's Pump the Brakes mini-series, we said to pump the brakes on Lenora Sellers. And for the main reason is not him himself. I think he is a great quarterback. Yeah. It is they do not have the team around him that he needs to be successful, and their defense is not as good as they were last year. Right. They've had a lot of Vanderbilt moved the ball down on them no matter what they wanted to do and force turnovers, against SC. I don't know. It's unfortunate because I know that South Carolina's never felt like they've had such a good team before. Right. This is probably like the best quarterback that South Carolina, at least talent-wise on paper, has probably ever had. At least in my lifetime. I'm not going to speak for the whole team as an organization, but at least in recent memory, right? Like the best quarterback that South Carolina's probably ever had. Yeah. So I like them to get right. They might have to earn it, but I think they can take care of business, and that's good enough for me. Finishing this off of the preview section of this episode, we have Indiana going to Iowa. Now, however, Iowa, when they got their quarterback, said, hey, we're going to play with passing now. Kirk Ferentz has literally been the coach of Iowa as long as I've been alive, if that gives you an addition of how old I am. Indiana, we just talked about them. They did what they did to Illinois. Right. And now they're 7.5-point favorites. Obviously, Iowa's name of the game is defense, has always been and will forever be name of the game. So they have a chance to maybe stand up against Indiana. Their Gronowski looked good when they played Rutgers. So was that last Friday? Looked good playing them. So I don't know, man. How do you feel?
Yeah, I was one of those teams. This, like I said, this Kirk Ferentz I think it's the longest tenured coach right now, still coaching. So, and they're like cool with 8 or 9 wins every year, right down there, over there. It seems like in the Iowa area. So, but I don't think the coach at Indiana, head coach, is cool with 8 or 9 wins, and it looks like he's really, really he's intense, and he's building a program, and so I see like a coach that's probably a few years away from retirement at Iowa, and I see a coach that's like just getting started in Indiana.
Let's win now.
So I'm like, Indiana all the way.
Yeah, I think that's probably where I'm gonna lie as well. And that's kind of what, those are the kind of the biggest games of this weekend. Yeah. That was kind of that kind of ends the preview section of the show. There was no official recap episode of this previous weekend, but there was a couple of things that happened around college football news. Obviously, Oklahoma beats Auburn, as we talked about, but then we now have John Mateer, who's going to see an undetermined amount of time off due to surgery on his. He's a lefty, right? So it's his non. Is he a lefty?
He's a righty.
So never mind.
It's his throwing hand. It's his throwing hand. 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay, I don't know why. I thought he was a lefty.
Know what happens in 3 to 4 weeks. From now is there's a Texas game.
Right.
So Hawkins, the backup quarterback, will start. He did start 4 games last year, but he's not John Mateer. I mean, John Mateer was doing it with his arm, and John Mateer was doing it with his legs. And so you take away that that he may have been probably. I was thinking maybe he and Ben Arbuckle together the highest transfer portal.
Easily.
Yeah. The biggest impact on any team. So
you get a QB and his OC, and you just let them. Hey,
yes,
y'all got it.
Do the same thing you did at Washington State, and just do it in the SEC, and we'll be cool.
Yeah. So in that 3 to 4 week period, you talked about it. They have Kent State, they have Texas. And if we're talking number of games, 3 to 4 games would also include South Carolina and Ole Miss. So
he went from Heisman front runner to now. The last thing I saw was the Heisman front runner was Mendoza from Indiana. So
I saw that too because he threw for like a billion touchdowns.
Yeah.
Against Illinois, rightfully so. Right?
Yeah.
And then we also around the league, you also have Mike Gundy getting the boot, which is crazy because they were 2 years ago, 2 seasons, were in the Big 12 championship.
Yeah.
Again, before in Texas's last season in the conference. Which I mean, hey, I'm a man. I'm 40. Talk to me. Not talking anymore.
Well, he had his best years. His best year was 2011 when LSU and Alabama ended up in the rematch. They lost a game. They lost one game that really just kicked them out of the playoff. But he had them. I mean, they win that game against Iowa State. There was some tragedy involved before that game where another team at Oklahoma State had tragically gotten killed some of the team members. And so it was an emotional game, and they lost on a missed field goal to Iowa State. And otherwise, they would have been in the national championship against LSU, and we wouldn't have had to play Alabama again.
Yeah, Chad talks about that all the time. That was Brandon Whedon, Justin Blackman. That was a good Oklahoma State team.
Very good team. That was Mike Gundy's best team.
Yeah, absolutely. And he had Ollie Gordon, which the worst thing he did was not go to the NFL after 23.
Right.
I mean, he's still in the league. So, good for him. But, yeah, I think he kind of lost out there. And we also had is Clemson, I'm going to ask you, is Clemson who we thought they were? Also, I think that people need to relax. And by people, I mean Clemson fans. Do you really want Dabo gone? Because you're crazy if that's what you think.
Yeah, no.
He has built your program from the ground up, and it's like the NFL. If you fire a guy and hire a guy, it doesn't make your team better. You actually erase everything he did, especially in a portal. You will lose your entire team.
Right.
I think that's stupid. How do you feel?
No, I agree. I think that. Look, the guy's got 2 national championships, beat Alabama, beat Saban. I mean, this guy. If you rank coaches just based on national championships, he and Kirby are tied, right? With 2. So, and then Ryan Day's get there with 1. But no, there's no way. I mean, before he got there, the last one, the national championship they won was 1981. So, I mean, where are you going to go? Who are you going to get? I mean, he took over for Tommy Bowden when Tommy Bowden was fired. Nobody expected him. It was kind of like a little bit of a correlation between him and Coach O. They were not coordinators. They had, they took over programs where a coach had been fired, and not much was expected of either of them. And boom, Coach O has this magical season in 2019. Dabo builds this program that, look, last year they were in they won the ACC championship. They made the playoffs. So what would you now, one thing he will need to do more of is embrace the portal.
Yeah, he's the one that refuses to do that.
Like he took 3 this year.
Yeah.
Which is a lot for him.
yeah, which is better than none.
Yeah, right. So he's gonna have to take that portal mentality and really embrace it. And look, he may be one of these guys that I don't know. I mean, may not be into this whole NIL and portal thing, and maybe he just says at some point, "I'm out," right? But right now, I would not say that would be the case. So
yeah, it's just, I think, like, because I didn't quite see it, like, the media was really bought in to Clemson being like really good this year. Yeah, I think, I mean, a lot of it is to do with they returned like the most players from this year to last year. And Klubnik was good. He ended on a good note. I mean, we beat them pretty handily to start the season this past year. And going back to Dabo, like, Dabo's a master recruiter. He will always bring, as long as he's your coach at Clemson, he will always bring guys. You're talking about the guy who got you Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence back to back.
Right.
Like, who literally took the two of the best high school quarterbacks in the state of Georgia, history-wise, and got them both to not go to Georgia.
I mean, he is a program builder. He's not a team builder. He's a program builder.
Right.
And that's the difference.
And he's also a big culture guy, like we talked about with the guys earlier in the video.
I was totally bought in. I'm going to be honest with you. At the start of the season, when I saw all the returning production,
right,
I'm like, I felt they were going to make the playoffs very easily. Even if they had lost a game or two. But it was like right around that the LSU week that first I felt like the tide was turning a little bit. And and then obviously that LSU loss may have, at home, prime time, may have kind of crushed their spirit a little bit. And they're obviously not as good as they were on paper. And that's why we play the games, right?
Exactly why we play the games. I love that's why you play the games. Exactly.
It's playing to win the game. So.
It's true though.
Yeah.
So Clemson fans, you want him.
Yes.
Listen, he can have a bad season and be okay.
Yes.
Like, you don't want him going somewhere else, because that's what he will do, and he will get paid handsomely to do so.
Right.
Program builder, you have your program. Leave it alone. A down year is a down year, and I will say the ACC looks very good this year. Like from a, in the past 5 to 10 years, like I can't remember like an ACC being like having this many teams that could like beat, like you have Georgia Tech, Florida State, Miami looks unbelievable, by the way.
Right. They do.
And
so they got 3 legit teams.
Yeah,
I mean, they really do.
Yeah, I've said it. I'll say it again, and I've said it a million times. Like, Georgia Tech has my eternal respect, and Haynes King is that dude. They walked into our house on a Friday night, almost beat us. Like, took us to the absolute wire in overtime. It's like anything.
I think Brent Key is a very good coach.
Oh, he absolutely is.
You want Staben,
right?
But I honestly, at the beginning of the season, I would have said Clemson would be your ACC champ. I didn't see Miami doing much. I didn't see Florida State doing anything, and I didn't see Georgia Tech. I thought they might be okay, but I didn't see them undefeated at this point, probably. So
yeah, I don't blame you. I think we got a lot of great college football ahead of us.
Yes.
What else happened this past weekend? Did we miss anything, Michael, before we get out of here?
I'm trying to remember.
I feel like it's been a bit. Georgia didn't play, so I was just kind of, kind of watching. But I feel like nothing.
No.
It was Clemson losing to Georgia. No, that was preview. That didn't happen. No, Clemson lost to Syracuse. That's what happened, and Syracuse's quarterback got hurt.
That's the one last thing I wanted to touch on was the Syracuse quarterback situation. He was putting up some great numbers, transferred from Notre Dame, and blows out his Achilles. That being said, they have a transfer from, believe it or not, LSU, Ricky Collins, who was our backup last year or third string. He's going to be the starting quarterback now at Syracuse. And I think for this Fran Brown, he came from Georgia.
Yeah.
He's got that program building mentality from Kirby and being around Dan Lanning and right. So I think he's building something over there. I really do. And maybe the system will carry them a little bit with the new quarterback, getting kind of used to things. And yeah, I mean, I think he's obviously a talented guy because I think the competition went right down to the wire. Honestly, the quarterback competition for Syracuse going into the season. So
Yeah, absolutely. And Syracuse still undefeated. I mean, since they had to run sprints after they barely beat UConn. I don't know if you saw that. Fran Brown had to run it. Yeah, so they beat UConn, I think, in OT or by one touchdown in the dome. And Fran Brown had them run sprints after the game on the field. Like people were filming it, like Herbie from the night, Miracle on Ice movie, like had him. It's funny, you know what I mean? Well, for me, that wraps things up. Michael,
Yep.
I appreciate you stopping by, filling in for Chad while he is on his European vacation. We got a lot of fun of college football coming up this weekend. I believe in you guys at Oxford, and it is Alabama Hate Week. Go Dogs!
I believe in you guys, and I believe in Oregon, and yeah. So I think we have 3 really, really good games, and so it's going to be like it just turned fall. Football's in the air. Yeah, you get that feeling, don't you?
Oh, absolutely, you do.
Yeah.
You got it, baby.
Yeah.
You got football in full swing. You got playoff baseball coming. NFL's in full swing.
Christmas in the air.
Yeah, that's all the good stuff right there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, Michael, I appreciate you stopping by. Everybody, make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. This has been the South End Zone. We out.
Ladies and gentlemen. Our intent was to eat. Our intent was to come eat and be hungry.
We're taking receipts, and we'll see you at the national championship.